Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your early morning update on everything transfer related with Manchester United. This is the United stand right outside the MCG, preparing for tonight's game against Crystal Palace, the last game of the Australia-Melbourne leg in this tour. It's a lovely day, as you can see. I think this is the first time I've wore a t-shirt on this whole trip, so just enjoying it while I can. Hopefully it stays nice for later as well. But yeah, let's get into it. Transfers, what have we got coming up? Donny van der Beek. Is it the end for Donny? Have we seen the last of Donny van der Beek in a United shirt while we're on this tour? We're going into Ten Hag's interview in terms of what he's done, the quotes coming from that regarding Maguire, the midfielder, the type of midfielder. What does that mean? He's talking De Jong and everything else in that. We're going to bring up all of that and anything else that's running around. I just have to say again, thank you to Wash and Go, their best 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner that there is out there. If you guys drop down into the link below, grab your bottle for under £1 if you buy one of Wash and Go's multi-packs. That is on Amazon now, from that link in the description, guys. I can't fault it. I've been using it all trip. I've got the best barber in town here, combined with the best 2-in-1 shampoo. What can you do? I mean, you all want hair like mine, don't you? I mean, it doesn't get better than this in the sun, finally, in Australia. But yeah, it is absolutely amazing here. And for our last day, couldn't really ask for nicer weather just to finish it off as well. But transfers, guys, let's get into it. I mean, we've hoped, we've wished, we've got players while we've been here. I would have liked to have seen players come on tour. I'm going to touch on that in a minute, actually, because Ten Hag was talking about that in terms of how we've not been able to get the likes of Lisandro Martinez and the likes of Christian Eriksen here on tour with us. It is what it is. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him. It's going to all happen when we get back home. We talked about Ronaldo as well. First of all, I want to talk about Donny van der Beek. I mean, you guys seen the interview I did with him after the Melbourne victory game the other day, and the comments that came across from that and what I came and took away from that was that he did look a little bit like a rabbit in the headlamps. I did sort of feel sorry for him a little bit. He's played, 90 minutes, 2 halves of football here, pretty much the same as everyone else, so you could say he's fully within Ten Hag's plans in terms of, if you look at it and how much game time everyone's getting. All the major players have had the same, 1 half each. Donny's in that category. I just look at it and I go, midfielder-wise, he hasn't really shone in a way that I would want him to. I mean, there are players that have stood out on this tour. Sancho, Martial, Rashford's been good. The likes of Charlie Savage and Iqbal have been very good. Donny, just on the peripheral. He's not quite been there. He's not quite been what you'd want him to be. I mean, it could all kick into gear. We never know. I mean, Donny has a good last 4 games of the tour, and let's not forget there is still 4 more games yet before we even get back into Manchester properly. So he has got a chance still, but there are rumours that he could be involved in some form of swap deal. AC Milan defensive midfielder Ismail Benacer, he's been touted now as a possible target for Manchester United, and the fact that Donny van der Beek could be involved in some form of swap deal with Benacer. I mean, honestly, I don't know enough. I've not watched enough Italian football to say if this is the type of player. But Ten Hag has been talking about the profile of player in that midfield. They do have a list. That's what Ten Hag has quoted to most of the journalists over here while we've been in Australia. There is a list of midfielders. Who is on that list? We can only guess. We've been through nearly every single midfielder that the fan base would think actually fit the bill, actually would work in this system. But he's also said that Cristiano Ronaldo is part of his plans. And I've said previously before, I don't see us playing the same way we have on this tour with Cristiano Ronaldo in the team. Now, I talked about Ronaldo on yesterday's show. I'm not going to get into it too much, but Ten Hag has said that he has to change his system. It's not going to be an Ajax. It's a different profile of player. It's a different league, and everything is going to be different. I mean, I've seen United play a different style altogether while I've been here on tour. So I'm saying it is different. Whether he's comparing it completely to Ajax and how they play, then, well, everyone can judge that. I think he's just trying to cover himself in terms of, like, don't expect to see the swashbuckling style of play that we had in Ajax with Manchester United. He's seen the players now. He knows what we've got. There's only, Cristiano that's not been really here. He's got Eriksen, he probably knows enough of, with him training with Ajax and his past and his history within the Eredivisie. He's obviously got Lisandro Martinez, who he knows how he plays. So really, there's only Ronaldo that hasn't really shown up. And to be honest, Ten Hag's probably looked at the squad right now, and that's where them quotes have come from in that interview. You've got to say, he's covered himself in what he said. There is a profile of midfielder. I'm looking at the way we're playing right now with Fred and McTominay. I'm guessing, opening day of the season, Brighton at home, unless a midfielder of absolute quality, say a De Jong, comes in within the next 3 weeks, it's going to be Fred and McTominay in the midfield. Now, that is a scary thought alone for a lot of United fans. I mean, maybe we could carry August with Fred and McTominay with this system. Is it going to get us that far with the games we've got? Well, some will say, well, no, because Liverpool's coming up quickly. And if it all goes wrong against Liverpool in the league, then how's it going to hit the confidence? How are we going to react to that? Because we know what this squad is like. You've got to look at it now and you've got to say, that profile of midfielder that he's talking about is purely De Jong right now. I can't see anyone else in what he was saying. It's that quality and calmness on the ball in that area, that defensive-minded midfielder who can read the game and who can pick the ball up from the defence, especially in that high line, and can also help the defence out. There has to be that link between the centre-backs and that midfielder. It's quite key that Lisandro Martinez is in now, and it does look like he is going to be put right into that team. His quality in passing is what everyone's looking forward to. His quality on the ball and calmness in that defensive area, even under pressure and under press, is what is key for Manchester United and Ten Hag in this system. Now, that midfielder, whether it be Donny van de Beek, whether it be Donny van de Beek, and getting him mixed up with De Jong there, but do you know what? Is there a role there for him? You've got players and young players coming through now, but do we want to put that pressure on an Iqbal or a Charlie Savage? Is it fair? Or do we just commit to saying, look, this is a young team, we're going forward with this, we're going to build from this? I do believe that we need that midfielder in though, that one more bit of quality. The fact that we've spent all of our money so far and not got a midfielder for that position is really riling a few United fans. Again, it just seems to be another excuse as to why we've not brought that midfielder in. But you look at it and then Ten Hag is fully going in on the fact that we have got a list and we are looking for that midfielder. He is fully convinced from them interviews that De Jong is coming to Manchester United. It's very interesting how he's worded it though, in terms of like what's needed and why that's needed with this football team. Because he's also said that Harry Maguire, even though he's the captain, still has to impress him this season. Now, that to me says there's room for change within the season. Whether you read it that way or not, to me, I look at that and I say, Ten Hag is saying to Harry Maguire, yes, you are the captain of this football club right now, but if it's not working within the system, if you're not performing for that system to work, then you are going to have to settle for a place on the bench. There's nothing you can do regarding losing your spot when we've got so many centre-backs. Maguire's going to have to impress. That's the word that's coming out. He didn't really impress in that first game. He's got another chance tonight against Crystal Palace. Let's see how he performs tonight. But Ten Hag, I think now he's sort of like, now he's talking to the press a little bit more. Now he is sort of coming out a little bit more in terms of sorry, it's just a dog that's pulled up right behind the camera. It's comedy goal. He's just dropped a ball right behind the cameraman, waiting for it to be thrown. You cannot write it. You can't write it. Yeah, I've just seen that dog react there. Oh, God. Yeah, that's what we want to see. He's coming back for more now. But, yeah, comedy gold. This is what happens when you're on tour and you're outside the stadium. I think the dog's forgot about his owners, but yeah, moving back to Harry Maguire, it's like he really now needs to get his head down and start playing football. Martinez coming in, it does look like him and Varane are the two. So what does that do with the captaincy? It's like one press conference back in Bangkok when he said Harry Maguire is the captain. Was that just us learning how Ten Hag answers questions? Was that just us saying, that's Ten Hag for the first time answering a question about the captaincy? Harry Maguire is the captain. Does that mean that he's definitely going to be the captain in Ten Hag's eyes? We're about to find out. Is Ten Hag the manager that says, well, no, I'm not happy with that now, I'm just going to change it? It's new. We've got to take it as it comes. And right now, Ten Hag is fresh in the job. He's doing his first interviews and we're all learning. The journalists are learning, the fans are learning exactly what he's like properly now, because we're getting close and personal with him. I do believe that what he said wasn't a definite. I'm now looking at it going, from what he said this week, Harry Maguire has to perform to stay in the team, let alone be the captain. He has vice captains in place. And to be honest, I think it's fair. I think every player should be worried about his place in this team. And if that's the way going forward, then all United fans are going to be happy with that. They're all going to have to perform to stay in the team. We've got more than enough options in defence now. Interesting what he's been talking about in terms of, or what's been rumoured with Jonathan Close in terms of right back. He's not really a right back. I think that's a non-story personally, myself. He plays more right wing. I think he's played right back once for Lens this season. So I'm looking at that and going, 29, is he going to come straight into that team? A 29-year-old would have to be a right into the mix player. I don't think he's that quality, much more quality than what we've got already. At the age of 29, is that a waste of money? I'm going to put that one to bed and say that's a non-story personally. I don't think that's going to happen. But what we've got to take from the interviews this week, and hopefully we'll hear more after the game tonight as well, is that we have a list, we are going for a midfielder, and hopefully that midfielder will be in place before the start of the season, because the Fred and McTominay combination, yeah, it may shine through a couple of games. I mean, we did all right at the start of the season with it last season, but we know over the course of a full season that midfield doesn't work. Season after season after season, it's not worked. Hopefully Ten Hag is the man to change all that. He talked about changing the profile, changing the player, working with what he's got. That's scary. It really is. I don't want to get into that too much. We'll see over time, because we're not seeing enough yet. In terms of Ten Hag saying he's going to change players and work with what he's got, we've only had 2 friendlies. Maybe by the end of this tour we may see something different from someone we didn't expect. I'm not going to get into that too much now, because I've not seen enough. That's where I'm at with that. I think everyone's the same. Some good signs from a lot of young players and a few other players that were underperforming last season so far. Game 3 tonight, we'll see what comes of that, and then we move on to Perth and we take it from there. Each game coming, we're looking sharp, we're looking fitter. The vibe within the club right now and the vibe within this team, when we're talking to them and everything, it just feels confident, it feels good. We'll roll with that, but there still needs to be change. That's all I'll say. We need to round it up by saying we need that midfielder or 2. And guys, cheers for all your input as well and your comments. You're all pretty much on point. From what I said in yesterday's show, get your comments in, talk to me on Instagram. We definitely need 2 midfielders. That is the general consensus right now for most of the United fan base. 2 more midfielders. Whether that's Donny van der Beek coming back into the team and another one coming in, the young players coming through, or 2 signings. Most people are saying 2 new signings. Let's see what happens. Still a bit of time left in the market yet. We're going to finish this day off now, get over to Perth, flying out tomorrow, and we'll catch up with the transfers and what's happened over the last few days through travelling around, and speak to you guys just before the weekend and around that Aston Villa game coming up this weekend in Perth. But cheers for watching, everybody. Like, share and subscribe as always to the United Stand. We'll catch you later. Matchday vlog is out tomorrow.
The United Stand on tour. Supported by Wash and Go.